Hey investors, this is Hunter Berg, and this is my second video of my investor YouTube series for the summer. And today I'm going to talk about politics, but I'm not going to be political. Okay, we're going to be taking a neutral, scientific, observational view of political actions, focused mainly on President Donald Trump, U.S. politics, and how it feeds into U.S. markets and world markets. So to start, I'm going to talk about this paper that I read in my master's program this past semester. I took an industrial organizational psychology class based on research in leadership. And mainly, this paper that I'm going to talk about was focused on American leadership, focused on presidents and elections since about 1928, I believe in the 20s. At some point. And what they did is they looked at the economy during these elections and looked at the current president who is running against the challenger. And what they looked at mainly for those presidents was charisma, and how they measured that was going through major speeches of theirs, picking it out, and basically measuring how charismatic these speeches were. And so they would give them a charisma score, these two candidates, and then they would have an economic score for the time of that president's presidency and during the campaign. And what went down was, what they found is that when the economy was good, the current president, or the president who was already in office, tended to win. And if the economy was bad during the last presidency, then that current president would lose and the challenger would win. And the interesting part was when there was a stagnant economy during the previous 4 years and the campaign. And what they found was, when you were unable to gauge economic success, or whether it was successful or whether it was kind of a failure, then charisma came, and the most charismatic candidate would win more often than not, to a significant statistical level. And I read this paper and I was like, oh wow, this is wild. And especially because I'm so interested in history and markets, obviously, as you all know. And I was just really thinking about the current administration and what's been going on in terms of President Donald Trump, and how his actions have affected the market and the markets in general. And so I want to share with you certain thoughts that I've had about his actions. So my view as an observer is that President Trump's actions, whether it's tweeting, whether it's going on some sort of media, anything, had significant effects on the markets. And to some extent, this seems like manipulation. And this is why I feel this way. So, since the great pullback of 2018 that we've been experiencing, since a nice run-up during 2017 in the markets, we saw the trade war with China, right? And every time there was some sort of, there was the fall, and then we kind of leveled off or bounced or something and started to build a base and move back up, some sort of tweet was let out, or something was tweeted, some sort of tariff was announced, and that plummeted the markets. So it seemed that there just seemed to be this pattern throughout 2018, and then even during 2019, as we've seen in the last months. And it seems every time we build that base and we start getting back to growing, and the continuation of this bull run, President Trump says something, and then whew, back down, and then over again, whew, back down, and over and over. So there seems to be something going on here. This is an odd pattern, because if there was just silence, then these continuations may have continued. So that is the interesting thing that I want to talk about, and the interesting actions that I kind of want to apply to this paper, pull from this paper and these ideas I just shared, and look at them through a neutral lens at like, oh, what might be going on. Okay, so I'm going to lay out a lot of options. All of these are potentialities. They might not happen, they may happen, part of it might happen with something else. Like I said in my last video, the markets are a living, breathing organism. There's too many systems involved and too many variables to really know what's going to happen. But it's our job as investors to dive in and to create a way of thinking that will maybe benefit us for all these different situations. So the main point of this video is to provide a lens to show you how I do this and how I create all these different scenarios to prepare myself for future trades and for future changes to my short-term and medium and long-term investment plans. So with this pullback, we know that the economy for U.S. politics is very important. It's, according to this paper, it has been a major indicator of success for presidents in the past. So we know that President Trump wants to be elected. He's running again for 2020, right? This is known. So what would be best for his campaign? It would be for the markets to flourish during the campaign, because many things will be talked about this campaign, and it's going to be pretty intense. It's going to be a war between these candidates. If the economy is doing well the whole time, President Trump can back up on anything, almost most topics, and just, oh well, look at the economy, look at how we're doing, look at this, look at the markets. What are we complaining about? Okay, and this can be pushed and pushed and pushed, and the more swing voters will hear this, and more people will talk about this, and they'll be like, well, the market does look good, because for many people, the economy is just it's just like a closed off view, like blinders. It's the stock market, or it's how their retirement plan is ending up right now, or looking right now. So moving forward, because we're in one of the we're really far in the business cycle, right? And for the markets, okay, we've had this bull run over 10 years. And since 2018, late 2017, we've had these pullbacks and then pullback. And how I view this is, what this could be is that markets could be getting pulled back so that during certain times of importance, if manipulation works, then we can send the continuation, and we can send the markets really high, and that will benefit certain individuals. And one certain organization or individual is President Donald Trump and his 2020 election campaign. So certain events over the last month and a half. One example is the tariff threat on Mexico. Okay, we had the tariff threat on Mexico in like late May, mid-May, and then on June 7th there was a deal announced, and the markets went back up, and then a week later certain Trump members of the Trump administration came out and said, "Oh, well, that deal's we agreed upon that months ago." I think they said December, and people read them and were, "Oh, that's weird. Why would we threaten tariffs and all this?" Well, that pulled back the market when we were starting to set up a nice base, and so certain things could be happening. One, we're pulling back the market. Well, President Trump is pulling back the market every way he can, through his tweeting, through his tariff threats, through whatever, in order to pull it back so that campaign season comes, which is basically here. The first Democratic debate started this week and go through November, and then they select a candidate, and then it's just presidential election through until we have a victor in 2020. So we're approaching this time. So perhaps send it up during campaign, use it during campaign, get in, and then that's whatever happens next. Whatever. The whole idea, I think, for the Trump administration is to win the campaign. And sending the markets up would help that, as this paper shows. And any of you who have been investing for a long time, you've probably noticed this pattern with your own country's elections as well. So also, like a month ago, we knew the G20 was coming up, which is this week in Japan. And there was news that Trump was not going to meet with President Xi. And this was sent markets down. But last week, President Trump tweeted that, oh, they are meeting, and they're going to actually meet solo, one-on-one, together, and that sent markets back up. So the whole point of this video, like I said earlier, is to set this kind of lens, show you the scientific, observational way of looking at politics and how it interacts with markets and how it might influence markets. Because if you're able to create these different scenarios and plan accordingly with different, every scenario, you have a certain plan for your current stocks, for future trades you want to make, or for companies that you're watching. That will definitely benefit your trading and your long-term investment in general. So that's the point of this video, and there could be many things happening, underlying goals for the administration. Maybe they're pulling back the market in order for all of their friends and confidants and family to buy in, to then send it. Or there could be a mass shorting with all of those people, so they're benefiting from pulling the market down, and maybe it's all to lose the next election and then really possibly send it down right at the end there, or with the next president. Or maybe it's not even involved. The list goes on. So many things could be going on, but thinking about it and really diving into it will prepare you for those situations, and your accounts will be ready. So anyway, that's my video. Moving forward, for those watching and for my followers, my goal here is to show this scientific approach. I don't want this to turn into any political debates. I'd rather stay neutral and talk about markets and the what ifs and build off of them, and not get into the left, right, whichever middle, whichever direction you are. Let's be scientists and let's look at this as observers. So thanks for watching. For now on, I'm going to be posting a video every week, either on Monday or Wednesday. So leave comment, like, follow, subscribe to my channel, all of the above. And for next week, give me some ideas for videos. I mean, post if there's anything you specifically want me to talk about, throw it down below either on YouTube or hit me up on Investor, and we'll talk about it. So thanks so much for watching this, and as always, happy trading, happy investing. Thanks. Bye.